everyone. So Eric and I are here on one of the last sea days of this very long contract here on the Independence of the Seas. We actually have 14 days left, and we are starting the process of packing and organizing and getting rid of things, and that includes trying to use up all of the groceries and things that we've accumulated. So we decided to kind of continue the cleanse of the room. We are going to utilize the ingredients to make no-bake protein balls. In the past couple months I've been making them often just as a quick grab-and-go, healthy, energizing little snack. I'm trying a new recipe today because I picked up these reduced sugar craisins. Now that we're back, I got really excited in the grocery store. All my favorite familiar things, so picked that up. I've had lots of packets of oatmeal that I've been utilizing and just still need to use them up. So this is the main ingredient, I would say, for these little balls. I'm going to start off by making this pumpkin spice craisin ball. Yeah. So we have one packet. It's just instant oatmeal. You can make it with old-fashioned oatmeal. I've done that too. I just happened to use that up in my last recipe that I made the other day. So we're using the quick oats, which are also fine. One packet of that for this serving that we're making. And then we have, right now, obviously as you can see, we've been trying to get through this unflavored whey protein. We got unflavored because every once in a while they'll do smoothie day on the ship, and I would bring my own unflavored protein powder and add it to the smoothies that they would make for us. This actually is masked very well by the other ingredients that go into these little ball creations. This is about one serving right here. It's about 24 grams of protein, 100 calories. These little instant packs, the original flavors, it's the same macros. This just happens to be a generic grocery, I think Publix brand, but it's just 100 calories, very low fat, and like minimal protein, maybe like 4 grams. And I'm going to try this recipe using 2 scoops of this protein. So that's protein packed right there. So I'm going to give just this little stir right now, the oats and the protein powder right there. Also, whilst I have the dry ingredients going, I'm going to add just a couple of packets of Splenda for a little added sweetness to the mixture as well. You all know Eric and I like things sweet. Next, I'm going to add a very important ingredient, and that is peanut butter. You can also do this with almond butter. I've tried that, and it's also delicious and wonderful. Today I'm using, because we're trying to use things up, but I do love this. This is a Nuts and More peanut spread, and it's the salted caramel flavor. I would say that it's less salted caramel than you probably would expect. It's still a pretty, like, overall just normal sweet peanut butter taste, but it does have added protein. So it's only for a normal serving, which is like 2 tablespoons, 188 calories, 12 fat, 8 carb, and 12 protein. So it's really a great way to pack in some protein, especially if you're putting it on like a piece of toast or a rice cake or on top of your oatmeal. But we're going to use it right now. So we use a full serving, so that's 2 tablespoons of this. So like so. I do really like the Nuts and More spreads, and to be honest, I'd probably have bought them sooner in my life if they weren't so expensive. I would suggest looking on Amazon for some deals, because every once in a while, like, certain flavors will go kind of on sale, or it'll be like out of season or whatnot, and they're a little bit more reasonably priced. But for someone who enjoys nut butters, I would highly recommend them. Next, another very important ingredient is honey. You could probably use agave, you could probably use raw honey, or a better kind of quality honey than what this is, but this just happens to be free and what is available on the ship. So we use this. These are little 15-gram packets, so I want to use a tablespoon for like a normal person measuring, or 1.5 of these equals about a tablespoon, so that's what I'm going to use. It's about 20 to 22 grams of honey. And it is really important to use this because it's kind of what holds it all together. I tried to use a Walden Farms 0-calorie maple syrup, and it just ended up turning into like water because it doesn't really have the like thickness that it needs to hold everything together. So, lesson learned for everyone: don't try it. Just use the honey. Take the calories. So I'm going to use about half of this one. That should be good. Now I'm going to stir all this together. And it's going to look like it's not really going to like be making much except for kind of like a mush here. But slowly but surely, I tell you, it will come together. And another thing that helps, I will add in a second, is almond milk. I just kind of try like to get it all mixed in there, mushed around before I add that last ingredient in, because it really doesn't take very much liquid at all. You could use water if you want. I just happen to like using the almond milk just for a little extra almondiness. I always get the unsweetened, added anything almond milk because it's very low calorie. So let's try. Definitely want to err on the side of waiting to add more before you add too much, because if it gets too liquidy and watery, then they don't form little balls. But as you can see, it's already kind of, now that I've added a little bit more liquid, becoming more dough-like. Since I did add double the amount of protein, it is going to be a little bit more of a process here, stirring it all together, getting it into that dough-like consistency. But you can see it's starting to form. I think that I can afford to add some more liquid, so I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons. Let's see where that takes us. Then I'm going to add the spices. The pumpkin spice, some cinnamon, and some nutmeg, and then the craisins. I just kind of like to get this initial doughy base before adding all that other stuff. Kind of making that very doughy consistency. Looks like you could just like plop it on a plate and bake a cookie out of it. That's what we want. Awesome. So now I'm going to add some pumpkin spice. I'm not measuring, I just kind of like eyeball it. I happen to like things very spicy. Whatever the spice may be. It smells good. And a little bit of nutmeg. Don't want too much of that. Some more cinnamon. I'm really excited every time I use up an ingredient. Like, that makes my bag lighter, or that means it's one less thing I have to worry about trying to use up. I put too much liquid. I think what I'm gonna have to do is add some more oatmeal, which is okay because we happen to have a plethora. I'm gonna add half a packet of oatmeal to help thicken this up. Really need dough nice and thick. I'm also going to add, probably should have added this before all the liquids, but we're going to add 1 teaspoon of chia seeds. This is a half teaspoon, so we're going to do 2 of these. It adds a nice little, not a crunch, but it's just a nice little addition. And it's an added energy for digestion. I'm going to add a dash more pumpkin spice and 1 serving of these craisins, which is a quarter of a cup of 40 grams. Is 100 calories, 31 carbs, 0 protein, but 14 sugars because there's no, or there's 50% less sugar than normal craisins. Cup. I do the same recipe with either sugar-free chocolate chips or the little mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. And that is delicious. It's just like a little peanut butter chocolate chip cookie bite. It's so good. This is good. You want it to be difficult. Look at that dough. Now, what I like to do is let the dough chill for about 10 to 15 minutes in the refrigerator. So I'm going to do that, and then when I come back, we'll make the balls. Okay, so I've let my dough chill in the refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes, and now I'm going to form the little balls. I simply use the same tablespoon that I have been using to measure this whole time. I measure about a tablespoon of dough. I take it out, I get a little messy, I roll it in my hands, and voila! A perfect little dough ball. Yum. So, what I love to do with these is put them in little Tupperware containers as I make them so that they're ready for me to grab on the go whenever I need a little snack. They're so cute. We'll see how many of these balls we make. At least we know they're about the same size because I'm using this tablespoon to measure them so that they're around the same size. Once I figure out how many we've made, then I can calculate the macros for them because I know the macros for the whole thing of dough. So then I simply put the recipe into my MyFitnessPal. I'll show you how I did that. And then whenever I want to log it in my MyFitnessPal, just to know, if you don't track, then that's fine, but for people that track like myself, then I know exactly what the serving size that I've eaten is, so it's easy for me to account for that. As you can see, this made a perfect 12 balls. Look how cute they are. They're so ready for snacking. Now, I have these little packs that I can take with me, that I can take on the go to the gym, or to dance class, or to snack on in between shows. They're basically the equivalent of like making your own healthy protein oatmeal bar, but they taste like pumpkin spice cranberry cookie dough. For the whole batch, that was this whole thing, I used 2.5 scoops of a whey protein powder, a basic whey unflavored protein powder, 22 grams of honey, about a quarter of a cup of unsweetened almond milk, 1 teaspoon of chia seeds, 2 packets of Quaker oatmeal, 1 serving, which is a quarter of a cup of the Craisins reduced sugar, and 1 serving, which is 2 tablespoons or 34 grams of the salted caramel nuts and more high protein peanut butter, which came out to a total of 827 calories, 76.2 grams of protein, 101.7 carbs, and 22.4 grams of fat. Give it a shot. If you try it, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. If you have other ideas, oh, that'd be nice to know. Other ideas for like other flavors. And that's how I see fit.